Hey guys, what is up? Fig Nukin Records here, joined with my friend from Spillage Studios, Patrick. We are doing a top 10 of the year 2025. Um, plus a little extra stuff at the end, if you guys want to stay tuned, but you don't have to. So let's start. You're the guest. We'll start with your number 10.
So, I
Well,
mean, we
actually,
kind of like briefly
bef-
talked about this. You
before we,
want to do the disclaimer?
before we even get into that overall, what did you think overall of 2025 for music?
I thought metal this year was pretty underrated.
Hmm.
I think the downside is definitely hip hop. Definitely one of the worst years of hip hop, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably in recent memory. I honestly had to throw in one hip hop album in my top 10, but it was kind of like I could have done different genres. I just wanted to be a little bit inclusive. And that's not to throw any shade at rap. Like we both love the genre.
Yeah.
We both have like strong. We've done covered it on this channel multiple times before, but I just think it was down year for them, which is okay. It happens. Just
Yeah.
like for any genre, just a down year for rap this year.
Yeah, I honestly will say like, dude, Mel this year was insane. Like I thought last year was like
Yeah,
really good. And we'll talk about. I at least I'm going to talk about how what I think of some of my top tens from last year, this year. But like, dude, this year killed it. There's so many albums. Honestly, it was hard to find time to listen to all of them. There's so many that I'm like could go on this top 10
yep.
list for me, but just didn't make because I didn't get to listen to them enough.
Yeah.
But
I think I could have put like all metal albums as my top 10. It just I kind of wanted to narrow down to like my favorites though. But
yeah,
yeah, I think this was one of the best years of metal. Probably it feels like we're almost like in a resurgence a little bit. I think metal has had its like down years, but I think this year is one of the best in recent memory.
yeah, I think like last year had like to me one of the best metal albums like of all time put on it, and I still think last year's metal and like damn, like my top 10, I'm like, was it as good as I thought compared to this year at least? But yeah, let's jump into your number 10. Of course, you want to let them know the stipulation for number 10.
Yeah, so number 10, the only reason I picked, so my number 10 is an EP. Well, it's technically an upcoming EP, but they did drop a couple singles. But I think the one single in this album or EP is one of my favorite metal records of the year that like I just had to put it in there because it's that good. My number 10 is I Promise the World by I Promise the World. It's a metalcore album or EP. I keep saying album. But it's a metalcore EP. It's supposed to come out in 2026, but they dropped one single, and the single sounds phenomenal. I kept showing it to like just friends and stuff. I was like, "Holy crap, this sounds like amazing!" It sounds like 2004, 2005, like Kill Switch, Parkway Drive. It was very like old school metalcore. I really loved it.
Oh yeah, I'll have to check that out then. I guess we'll go to my number 10. From there, my number 10. Sorry, I gotta like look on this. My number 10 was Hex Vessel's Nocturne. They're kind of a like black metally, almost ambient kind of band, and there's some really good songs on here overall. Let me just get some of my favorites here. But yeah, Mask. Well, here we'll just go this one. I really like the Sapphire Zephyrs, Inward Landscapes, Dark and Graceful Wilderness, Spirit Masked Wolf, um, Mother Destroyer, and Phobia. Dude, they were really good ones. And I was kind of like, this is an album that kind of like low key came up because I think they're, first of all, I love their album cover style. They've always been cool with that. But when they were dropping the singles for this one, um, like I heard, I believe it was Under the Lake. Is that a song that came out from this one? Or I don't know, maybe it was on YouTube or something. I don't remember where like, but I saw the songs coming out for this, and maybe they got rid of the singles um on Spotify or however it was. But like when I was like, damn, I'm really hyped for this. I listened to it and I really really loved it. And the only reason it's number 10 for me, I think, it could have been a higher one. But it's honestly in front of a lot of really good albums too. But just very unique and well made and very moody, I would say is the right word for it, and like a good way. It's got some cleans in there too. You got like your classic black metal, but then you have some like clean, more like melodramatic portions of songs that really tie the album together, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's weird because like kind of going off of, I wanted to talk about black metal because it wasn't a genre I was really like into,
Mm,
but like I think as the more I've listened to, the more I've enjoyed like the first wave black metal sound.
yeah,
I think that's like super underrated and underutilized like in songs today.
yeah, I agree.
I don't know, I really like it. I think it's way better than the second wave of black metal artists. But I really like the first wave sound.
I do like. I'm a huge fan of like Marduk and I don't know if we've really talked about black metal too much. I'm a huge fan of like Marduk and Immortal and everything.
Yeah.
I know I should use some Immortal when we were in the car
Mhm.
that one day. When I was back home not too long ago, but I just really think some of that stuff is really really good.
Yeah. Um,
So what's your
I
number
guess it's
nine?
my turn. So my number nine, this is the hip hop record that I was talking about. It's the album's called "The Sword and the Soaring" by Navy Blue. Kind of a new hip hop. Gosh, I can't speak today. Hip hop artist. I didn't really listen to till like I heard about this album. Came out in November, so not too long ago. Really, honestly, just old school hip hop.
Mm,
It's got classic like '90s, 2000 beats. It's very like poetic. Um, I really enjoyed it. It just sounded like, honestly, just felt like just a throwback hip hop record. The production really good. They got an Earl the Sweatshirt feature on one of the songs, so
oh yeah,
that's pretty cool. Just really unique, and then I'm honestly just excited to listen to more of Navy Blue
yeah.
because it's
I
kind of a new artist I kind of discovered. So pretty cool.
yeah, I heard something about him. I think I saw that Earl sweatshirt. I haven't gotten a chance to
Yeah,
listen to it yet, so I'm actually
yeah,
hearing that's like a '90s style.
Uh,
I'm super excited.
yeah. The beats are straight up like early 2000s maybe. Kind of like the era of hip hop I enjoyed the most, like '90s, 2000s. Um, yeah, it was just like refreshing, just old school type of album. Um, even kind of got like an old school production to it too. The lyrics in there are pretty great and the features too. So honestly,
Awesome,
really underrated. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really think I was gonna have a hip hop album in my top 10, but I'm glad this made it.
awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. My number nine is definitely not hip hop. I actually don't have any hip hop in my top 10. I think I told you before we started. My number 10 or my number nine is gonna be November's Doom Major Arcana. This album, um, this one really hit for me. Think I know it hit late in the year, September, so it was a later one and one I didn't get as much listening. But dude, on here, this album gives me super hardcore Novella Reservoir vibes, which is probably my favorite album by them. Um, but like songs like, of course, the title track Major Arcana is really good. Ravenous has a really good hook in there. Um, and then I did think the like last little bit of the album kind of let me down. I did like 22. I thought it was a pretty cool song, but then like Chatter and Dusky Day, I wasn't as big of a fan of, but like the rest of the album to me was so good that it kind of put up for those two songs, which are just like a little heavier and don't have a lot of like the like I really like how they use orchestral and like violin in their songs to like or violoncello whatever and kind of um add like a really moodiness to their Death Doom sound. And I know I talked about this last year. The like Death Doom style is one of my favorites, and you will always
Yeah.
find some of that on my list. And this year is no exception. There's actually definitely a couple on here for that. But what's your number? Was your number eight?
Number 8. I'm just looking at MJ because I always make fun of her for listening to this. Even though ironically it's on my top 10. But my number 8 is Willoughby Tucker. I'll always love you. Ethel Kane. Um, she's laughing. Um, but yeah, I just really like this. It's like super like dark and ambient,
Mm,
just gothic. Uses a lot of just like cool sounds, unique. Nothing like I've really heard before. I'm really a sucker for like those dark ambient type of songs. And yeah, she's really incredible. I honestly could have put Pervert too, which was another 2025 release, but I decided to go with this one because I kind of like it a little bit more. Yeah, it's just really unique, just like dark ambient music. Um, really strong lyrically. Yeah, it was just my number 8. anytime I hear any one of these songs, I just really feel like the gothic type of vibe it brings out.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say I've ever listened to them or heard them before. So, like, is it like almost like something like a Dead Can Dance kind of vibe, like that kind of dark, or
Um,
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like bands that you would maybe know of that style. Like
it's
what bands is
more it's very I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's very like yeah, it's southern like she technically goes by Southern Gothic. I think it's more like just atmospheric.
uh, did I make you listen to that band that's like basically like a Norwegian Johnny Cash with really dark lyrics? Did I make you? Is it kind of like that style?
Yeah, and like so each like song kind of has like a different like story. Almost like
Mm,
one song is about like cannibals and stuff, just like eating corpses and just weird like
okay.
just Gothic storytelling. I think it's like super cool and unique.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to
I don't
check it
know. It's
out.
just like nothing I've heard before. I think you would like it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
That sounds very interesting.
yeah. It's just like on it's super weird, and like each song is too is like progressive, so it's like 10 minutes long.
Mm,
So it's
awesome.
almost like you're hearing like a story, kind of
Hell yeah.
super cool. Honestly, like if you like horror or any kind of like horror movies and stuff like that, like I really like True Detective, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah. Is it kind of like that
Yeah,
like intro song to True Detective?
yeah, yep.
Okay.
It's kind of like it just reminds me so much of True Detective. I'm like, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know. Did I ever have you listen to Now Laura Blue by I think I mentioned it on my I think I mentioned it on my uh top 10
No,
for
I don't think
Halloween
I have.
albums. That one's a pretty cool one. That's like almost
Yeah,
like they're kind of a like stoner band, but they do like very horror themed or like murder themed albums, and they did one that was kind of more of an ambient, almost a soundtrack style, which was really cool. But
yeah. And I'm usually like too like not a big fan of like super popular like because she technically goes technically in the community she's more of like a pop artist people
mm,
want to say, but I don't really see that at all. I think it's just honestly more it's kind of like an atmospheric like alt rock. I don't know.
okay,
That'd be kind of my guess, but
yeah,
super
it
cool and unique.
sounds interesting. I'll have to check it
Yeah.
out at some point. I guess so. My number 8 will be Steven Wilson's The Overview. Of
Okay.
course, known for his Porcupine Tree fame. Um, yeah, this album's sick. It's only two songs. Each are like once. Let me get the actual statistics on this shit because it is a like two long songs. It's like a 23-minute song and an 18-minute song, something like that. 23:19 and 18:21. So just two songs. I think the overview, which is the title track, is the second song on the album. I find that a little less interesting. It's good. It's more like electronica driven, I guess. But the songs "Objects Outlive Us," dude, that's a like 23-minute. If you listen to Porcupine Tree, like old Porcupine Tree, I love like the Sky Moves Sideways and stuff like that. And
Nice.
or I think and then up through the downstairs, I think is the other one I want to say. But yeah, the album is super well made, like simple. And Steven Wilson has been one of those people that I would say has very much strayed away from his prog roots, like prog rock roots, and has pushed more towards like a poppier, like more electronica sound. So it's really cool to get that kind of coming back and hearing that in his music outside Porcupine Tree, which I wasn't a big fan of the last Porcupine Tree album, which might be a sin to some people who love this album, but I thought this one was awesome.
Who was the artist again?
Steven Wilson.
Okay.
He, yeah, he also does like a bunch of. You might know him from like he's done a bunch of remasters too of like really big albums. I can. Does it tell me if he's no? He's done like I don't know if you know Gentle Giant, but they're an older band. He's done like them. Yes, he's done remasters for Yes and stuff like that. Jethro Tull, he's done remasters for them. He's like really big in the progressive rock community. So yeah, that's my number 8.
Right.
What's your number 7?
So my number seven. So kind of sticking with like the Western type of roots a little bit. This is I don't really consider this like a country album. It's more like I don't know. I'm not. a fan of like the mainstream country, but I love like outlaw folk
Yeah,
folk music.
I
I
100%
love that
agree.
type of stuff. That to me is real country music. So my number seven is "Send a Prayer My Way," Julian Baker and Torres.
Mm.
I thought this was super cool. It just kind of has like an outlaw, like blues type of vibe to it, like the instrumentals and everything. Um, and it has like just like super like cool like outlawish lyrics. I don't know if that's even a word, but it kind of just reminds me of just like a western kind of like I don't know, just a west like some cowboy stranded out in the west. Super
Mm.
cool, like unique vibe. But yeah, that was my number seven. I just wanted to include it because, like I said, I think it's super cool, and I think we need more of this type of country too. Because I think we're getting too much into like the mainstream, like I don't know,
Pickup
anything
trucks
you
and
hear on the radio. Yeah, it
cowboy
just
boots and beer.
that to me isn't really like country music. I love like the kind of feeling like a loner cowboy out in the west.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that. I
deal
also
with the devil type of vibe. Like those are the type of like outlaw kind of country I like, and this album kind of reminds me of that.
yeah, I've been honestly what I've been getting into a lot is neo folk, which is a kind of a cool genre
Yeah,
that's more Scandinavian, I guess. That stuff's really cool. Like a darker, like folkier stuff. And there's a band I just found like a couple days ago, Pearls Before Swine. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
yeah,
They're from like the '60s, dude, and they do like really dark psychedelic folk music that's really cool. And then also, I was kind of going on a tangent now, but who was the other? Terry Collier. I don't know if you know who he is, but
sounds familiar.
he kind of did like more of a in like the '70s. Kind of went to more of a uh, like I don't know what the right type of word for those kind of albums is. It's almost like the like kind of Marvin Gaye kind of style, or more a little more upbeat
Okay,
maybe. Um, but and a little bit of like jazzy in there. But dude, his uh first album, the new folk sound of Terry Collier, is a super cool like depressing folk sound, and
yeah,
I've been getting super into that recently.
yeah. I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I really got into like blues music this year,
Mm,
and I'm kind of like beat myself up like I didn't get into it earlier because there's some like really good albums from like Freddie King or just those really like old blues albums
yeah,
that just like I don't know. I've always been a sucker for like kind of get that western type of like blues vibe or like southern or western type of blues. I love it. I think it's really underrated.
yeah, I 100% agree. I guess I'll go to my number seven, which will be Coroner's Dissonance Theory, which is their first album, probably I want to say since like either early 2000 or late 90s. I want to say first album since 1993, so early 90s. Um, and dude, it rips. It sounds like they didn't lose a beat in what is that 32 years. Like they haven't lost a beat since then. It's a late release. I believe it came out like I want to say October. It came out. Yep, October 17th. So another late release. Another one that probably could have been higher. There's some great songs. The single "Consequence" that came out was awesome. Christian Bound is awesome. The Law, Transparent Eye, dude, they're it's like a really really just well made album. Sacrificial Lamb was also a cool one. Uh, just super cool to see a band come out after so long and literally like they haven't lost a step. I can't wait. I hope they tour, and if they're not already touring, I would love to see them. Actually, I don't know if you know the band. Shoot, why am I blanking on the band name? Probably tell me if I just click on here. Shoot. Uh, uh. So they were. I don't think it's gonna say, but basically it was formed from. Uh, shoot. They didn't. Celtic Frost. I don't know if you know
Celtic
them.
Frost. Yeah.
Um. So that whole band, was a bunch of roadies for Celtic Frost. Um.
And what was their name?
Coroner. Uh, I, I'm pretty sure. I'll make sure I'm not wrong in this. Um, yeah, they were originally roadies for Celtic Frost. I was like, I'm almost positive this is right, but it didn't say anything on the thing. So it's really cool. It's like a band that formed out of nowhere, but they're kind of a more grittier thrash metal that's a little bit darker, and they have some
Mhm.
really cool stuff. And if you haven't checked them out before, I highly recommend it. But what's your number
I,
6?
my number six, we're kind of teetering off the end of the non-metal releases.
Mm,
So um, this one, I honestly just thought was a really cool, like kind of psychedelic album almost, but it's called Bronco Natural. Or I'm sorry, the band is Bronco, but the album's called Natural Pleasure. I just thought it was like a cool, just like indie hypnotic rock
hmm
almost. Um, just super cool. It blends like a bunch of genres. Just has like a very like psychedelic feel to it. I think the guitars and for if I listen to like any type of like indie music, for me, I just can't get behind like the male voice in it. So I prefer like female artists
mm.
over male artists when it comes to like any type of like indie pop music. Um, so this one was I thought that was their kind of strong suit in this. But yeah, it was just really cool, just hypnotic. Just incorporating different genres into some kind of unique project. So yeah, that's my number six,
Oh yeah,
Natural
uh,
Pleasure Bronco.
yeah. I've been kind
Not
of
really gonna spend much time on it.
yeah. I've been getting kind of in more into indie. I guess less like it. I've been I guess more indie folky kind of stuff
Yeah, that's
like Sufjan Stevens and I like Fleet Foxes a little bit, but really Neutral Milk Hotel I think is really cool. Like really, I don't know if you've ever listened to their like big album in an airplane over the sea. Um, that album is really cool.
yeah. I was so I mean we're gonna kind of go on to like the disappointed albums of the year. I'm assuming at the end of this, but there were some like indie folk albums that I was pretty disappointed by. So
Okay,
maybe when we
well,
go
yeah,
to that, I'll bring up some.
awesome. Yeah, my number 6 is gonna be a band I know you've been listening to a lot recently. Their new album, Catatonia's Nightmare as Extensions
Really,
of the Waking State. I'm a huge
I was
new age Catatonia fan. I love the like softer way they went. I know you're like Brave Murder Day. Um,
yeah.
I think some of their stuff is a little too like of their OG stuff is a little too rough for me. Weirdly enough, because I love like black metal and stuff like that. Uh, but like I still appreciate like Brave Murder Day and there's stuff I like on it. But like for like even like the song Day, which is like a big one. I fucking love the newer live version of it, which the original is in the clean vocals too. But uh,
You know, it's kind of funny you bring this up because I was actually listening to like some of their newer stuff the other day because I was like, I might as well. I originally started by listening to their older stuff from what's it called, the Great Cold Distance
But yeah, that's like
and the
their
Fall
that's their
Apart.
newer style though. Fall of Hearts I love. I don't like their
Yeah,
so I actually don't like their last album as much. I didn't like that one. Let me get that up. But yeah, continue your statement. Sorry.
but it's kind of funny you mentioned this because like I said, I'm a Brave Murder Day person all the way through, but I've been listening to like a bunch of the Great Cold Distance recently a lot,
Hmm.
and I'm starting to like almost like switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's
I'm almost starting to like their new age stuff like
so that's how I
way
got
more than their like Death Doom era.
that's how I got into Catatonia was Brave Murder Day. I was like, okay, this is interesting, and I was like, let me see what else they have. Like, let's see how they advanced. And I listened to uh, Fall of Hearts, which is now my I have on CD back there somewhere. I fucking like that album. I think it's amazing, and then of course, Great Cold Distance is great. Dead End Kings, like there's some really good cool stuff that they have done. And I think this new album is very much an extension of like Murder Day, the Great Cold
Mhm.
Distance. Like it's a big extension of that, which I love.
I was I was impressed like how much like they didn't miss a beat. Like they sound almost like straight up like how they did in like 2006.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Like which is pretty crazy. Like it almost sounds like usually you can tell like as artists get older, Dave Mustaine. Um, but Yeah, they didn't. They like I said, they didn't miss a beat on that. It didn't make my top 10, but like because I didn't really listen to it that much. But
Yeah.
um, from what I've listened to, like they were pretty good.
Yeah, I love the album, and then they also did a song in their native tongue too, after Solon, which was cool.
Hmm.
I believe they're uh, Stockholm. Yes, Stockholm is fuck, dude. Stock? No, I don't. Whatever they are, I don't want to get the, the country wrong. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff on here. Um, Liquid Eye, Wind of No Change. Uh, Honestly, like Lilac and Temporal, really good. Um, After Solon, like I just mentioned, The Light Which I Bleed, In Event of, like honestly, all the songs, the whole album was great. Thrice is cool too. Like this album for me hit on all cylinders of what I wanted a new Catatonia album to be. More than Sky Void of Stars, which felt a little bit more upbeat. And honestly, you were talking about his vocals. He like tried shifting to like a more, um, like I don't know what the right word is because I don't want to say like he went for like a heavier metal, I guess, or like more of a modern metal sound on that one. And I didn't like it as much, but this new one I absolutely adore.
Yeah, honestly, like I think if I listened to more of it, it probably would have made my top 10. But I just didn't listen to enough of it
Yeah, that's
to really feel like I should put it in my top 10.
yeah,
But I'm kind of like kicking myself a little bit because I feel like from what I listened to, I liked it, and I think it could have made my top 10.
100%. Yeah, I think like
But it's like weird because this week I've only really gotten into like their new age stuff, even though that's what I started with was then a Brave Murder Day person. Now I'm like slowly drifting back to
yeah, I
um
I
their
think they're like just
newer
a
stuff.
really good band that used the stylistic shift of like the singer not being able to do the harsh vocals
Yeah,
anymore, and they really took it and ran with it, in my opinion.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, what's your number five?
So my number five is now we're getting into kind of the fun stuff. So my number five is Crimson Dawn by Death Hammer. This is a like blackened thrash, which you'll kind of see the theme going on from Bust on down. Um, but yeah, this is just super cool, just almost old school thrash a little bit. Kind of has like that 80s heavy metal, which I didn't realize till like this year. I'm a really big fan of like that the 80s like heavy metal thrash scene a little bit.
Not
More
Iron Maiden.
specifically like speed metal. Wasn't really a big
Do you
fan
like
of it.
Running
Now,
Wild?
now
No.
I still have to listen. I have to still listen to some more speed metal
Okay,
bands.
okay. I
Yeah,
was gonna say,
I'm not an expert yet, but yeah, from like what I listened to this year, like really getting into speed metal and like black and thrash. This album just kind of hit all those check boxes. It's just very just wild, chaotic. Um, and I'm a big fan of just like blackened vocals, and this covers it. It's got that really shitty production too, like that '80s shitty production. So yeah, they really, and of course they're doing some LARPing too on their album covers, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just overall, it's just a really fun, chaotic album. Yeah, kind of has like that old school thrash metal.
mm,
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So it was Crimson Dawn by Death Hammer,
yeah. And if you
and they
actually,
have some like fun. They have some like fun titles too, like Satan's Sword, Crimson Dawn, Die Eternal. I just like that type of stuff. It's just really like fun.
yeah,
Because
if
we're
you
kind of playing into the whole vibe.
if you like that too, dude, fucking Wolf King is another black and thrash band that I think they one of their album 2021 was probably one of my favorite albums that year. They really kick ass too. If you get the chance to listen to them. So I guess I'll go into my number five. Sodom the Arsonist. Oh my goodness, dude.
Uh,
When so we'll talk about disappointing albums because I think thrash overall was kind of has been kind of disappointing over the past few years.
uh,
Um,
I'm the opposite way. I think Thrash killed it this
I
year.
think like, or I should say, classic thrash to me.
Okay. Are you talking about like the big like Testament or like
Yeah,
those
like
types
that
of?
kind of stuff, like Metallica, like Even Megadeth, or you know, their past few albums haven't been my favorite, but dude, they fucking kicked ass. I really really think Sodom has been so good since they got like their newer lineup too.
Mhm.
They've been really kicking ass with Genesis, Genesis 19. I think that album was fucking amazing, and then now the Arsonist. Oh my god, the Battle of Harvest Moon was amazing. Trigger Discipline, Spirits That I Called, Gun Without Groom, Taphophobia, um, Obliterations of the Aeons, Return to God in Paris, dude. Oh my god, dude, this album is thrashy. It's I don't know if you've listened to much Sodom.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
like a
so
fair amount.
yeah,
But,
so like almost verging on the death metal route. Like
mhm.
they are, to me, I think like the, there's the whole German, or yeah, the German big four of thrash. Um, and I really think, like, to me, they kick Creator's ass. They kick Tankard's and fucking Destruction's ass. Like all of them. I think they're fucking amazing. They're
Yeah,
probably my favorite thrash metal band right now that has been releasing music. So
yeah. It's cool to see them still like kicking it too,
yeah, so yeah,
being up all these new
that's my number
bands.
five. What's your number four? I guess.
So my number four is I think these guys are gonna be the next big thing, but it's Interceptor, um, and their album Metal Death came out this year. I think now this is another like black and thrash metal band.
Mm-hmm.
And this album just kicks so much ass. It's incredible southern heavy metal. So they blend a bunch of different genres. They blend like southern heavy metal, and then they blend like first wave black metal. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like they kind of sound like Venom.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, they kick ass. I actually think their old album, Tales of Mayhem. So this band has only been around since 2024, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
or 2023. So they're kind of a new band. But they did an album last year, I think, which is a little bit better than this one. But they're just gonna be up and coming. These guys, from videos I've seen, like touring live and everything, they're actually touring with Venom this year.
Oh yeah.
But they're just incredible. I think they're gonna be the next big thing in thrash. Um, and this album kind of blew me away a little bit. It's called Metal Death by Interceptor,
Hell yeah.
and they have a kick-ass frontman too. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do. Just very just you know ground and pound, just straight from the start. Really fun song. Metal. They have a song Confederate Cannibal, Fire, Cemetery Wind, Black Ritual, Beheaded, Sword of Fire. Just really, I don't know, just really cool. Old school speed metal thrash. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do in the future, and it definitely made my top 10 this year.
Hell yeah. Um, yeah, into my number four here, I guess. I'm going to do, well, my number four is In Mourning, The Immortal. Another Death Doom album that I fucking adored. This album. I think they've been kicking ass in Mourning with this album and their last one. Been loving those. Got great songs like Silver Crescent, Song of Cranes, As Long as the Twilight Stays, Moonless Sky, Staghorn, North Star. Like, great. They've been balancing the clean and the heavy so well for so long. Um, and I really think, like, few, very few bands in the death doom genre almost do it as good as them. Um, and I still think, like, probably one of my favorite songs or one of my favorite albums of the whole genre is The Way to Oceans, which probably their most popular album, but I don't even care, dude. It's fucking awesome. They're an awesome band. Love them. Almost nothing I find wrong with their music so far, which makes me happy. I'll say that. But yeah, that's my number four. What's your? I guess getting to the top three. What's your number three?
Yeah. My number three is Wrath and Ruin by Warbringer or Warbringer. I
Oh, cool.
typed in Binger
Yeah.
on my list by accident. But this is another this is more newer thrash, so it has like a more kind of more like modern production. So it doesn't really so it's kind of shifting from uh Interceptors like shitty production to more
Mm-hmm.
like the modern production. But this album's so sick. The riffs in this are insane. I'm big on guitar play in thrash albums. Like it's got to have like kind of a catchy riff to it. These riffs are insane. They make you want to like run through a brick wall. But yeah, this is another like kind of want to say modern thrash band. Um,
Yeah,
I would
I'd
say
say
this band and Wraith are like my two favorites in like the newer thrash scene. But yeah, I really thought this album was very crazy, chaotic, and just really cool
yeah.
overall.
I didn't even know they released an album this year. So that's
Yeah,
probably one I'll have to check out because I really like Woe to Be Vanquished and War Without End. Like those two
yeah.
albums, I
I
think
just think their riffs, yeah, their riffs are like super underrated, I think, and yeah, it just plays really well with their vocals. Yeah, easily made my top three of the year.
yeah, that's one I wish I would have listened to. Honestly, looking back at it, I guess in retrospect, I'm like, damn, I really wish I would listened to that because big big fan of those two albums that I mentioned
Yeah,
previously. But
right off the rip, it's the first song is like the sword in the cross,
mm,
and once the guitar starts like opening riff starts playing, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a ride, and it's like nonstop from there.
yeah, uh, I guess my number three will be into a weird kind of. I don't really know how to. They're black metal, but they're kind of more. They got a lot of extra little things in them, so they kind of do like an ambient, kind of like '90s rock style, like something attuned to. Shoot, why am I blanking on their name, dude? Uh, shoot, Interpol. There you go. That's who it is. They have like kind of like almost sections like that. But yeah, they did like a really cool album this year. Deaf Haven, Lonely People with Power. That's gonna be my number three. So we may be sharing an album. It looks like.
Might
Uh,
be sharing something.
yeah, this album's awesome. I guess I won't I won't say much if you're gonna bring it up later. We'll talk about this album. I don't know how soon we'll talk about it, but are we gonna talk about it really soon or a little later?
Well, later.
Okay, so I'll save it because this actually was my. I'll say this was my number one for most of the year. So it's a great album. We'll talk about it when we get to you though.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin your thunder. Uh, what's your number two then?
My number two is gotta find it. Capital Punishment by Wolfenstein.
Okay,
First album these guys released. And this they have one song Kaiju, which is easily hands down the best metal record this year.
okay,
It's insane. These guys, I'm excited to see what they can do. I think I based off a lot of my list. What I kind of noticed is like a lot of these bands are just starting or younger, so I'm really excited to see what they can do. But
mm,
this album just insane. This is another just like start to finish. This has some of the best like riffs. I know I was raving Warbringers riffs, but these riffs are so impressive and the production is incredible just for a band just starting. Like I said, Kaiju, um, AIPD, Capital Punishment, Judgment. Like these songs are insane for like um, a freshman debut album. And I'm really excited what they can do. And like I said, Kaiju I think is one of the best metal records of the year. It's insane. It's the most fun I've had like in a thrash metal record. But yeah, that's my number two, Wolfenstein, their album Capital Punishment.
hell yeah. Um, so my number two is gonna be one that I feel like kind of one I was thinking was gonna be so high, but then when it came out, I just fucking loved it. I know we've talked about this. It's gonna be Lorna Shore. I feel the ever black festering within me. This album has all you want from if you're a big deathcore fan, if you're like more of a metal epics fan. Like, dude, it has everything you want. Of course, you got your more uh, what do you want to say? You're more I don't want to say poppy, but you're more radio friendly, I guess, or whatever you want to say. That you're more general audience kind of metal song with like something like Unbreakable, which is so good. Oblivion, which is amazing. And then I think the absolute pinnacle of this album, Glenwood, the amazing,
Mhm.
epic, almost 7 minute long track that is just so great. Um, it's got that epicness you want in a metal track. It is such a good album. It's hard because Lord Shore is like I like their. I wasn't a big fan of Pain Remains, but to the health, or sorry, and I Return to Nothingness EP. I enjoyed some of the stuff off that. I was like, this band's like, you know, now with the new changes and everything, I think this band's got some momentum behind them. I'm happy with this album, but when this album came out, I was like, oh my god, this is like they have found their
Yep.
rhythm. It is awesome. It is heavy. It is brutal. The vocals are amazing on it. It is so well done.
I will say they are probably the most like brutal band. Say what you want about deathcore. I know some people are like, oh, it's not real metal. Well, that was like that album is like brutal.
Yeah, I think
Like
this album.
they are nonstop.
Yeah, it's amazing. I fucking love
Yeah,
that album.
and
It's
the
great,
production's incredible too.
and I might be seeing them next year at some point. At I'm going to Rockville, so hopefully that'll be sick. Um, but yeah, I can't wait. I
Yeah,
think they're fucking
I
amazing.
think I think looking if I had to redo my list, I think they would definitely make my top 15.
Hmm.
But yeah, they were just brutal, incredible. And I never really got into deathcore that much, just because I know there's a lot of there's good bands and then there's also like a bunch that are not so great, and I think it gets oversaturated with the bad bands a little bit. Um, but they just sound like no other deathcore band.
Yeah. So I guess before we get into our number ones, do you got any honorable mentions you want to talk about?
I do. I have a couple honorable mentions. My first one is just to give a shout out to these guys because they are in high school, and I thought this is another metalcore, deathcore type album, but it's called Thrones from Unbroken Rain. This is their debut album. Um, these guys, I believe, are still in high school. One of the best productions I think I've heard this year. It's incredible. But I just wanted to give a shout out to them because it blew my mind listening to through this whole album. It's very cinematic,
Hmm.
which kind of brings me into my next honorable mention, which was Orbit Culture. And let me just make sure I'm saying the name right. And Death Above Life,
Oh yeah.
another just very like cinematic, um, metalcore, deathcore type album.
Awesome. Is that all your?
It's my yeah, on the top of my head, those are
Okay.
my two I can think of.
Cool. Yeah.
Um, and then once we get, I'm assuming we'll get into disappointment.
Yeah. We'll go into the
Okay.
album after. We'll talk about it when we get there. And then I guess yeah, for me, I had some ones. I honestly think Guts Nightmare Fuel, that was a super good album. That was like just off my list. That one's a super cool old school death metal album. Almost kind of reminds me of like Molder from last year, which was super good. I had Castle Rat the Bestiary, which that album was super cool. That's like a kind of like stoner rock with a female vocalist. Kind of, I guess they have kind of that like Dungeons and Dragony kind of gimmick, but super cool, fun album. Killswitch Engage the Consequence. That album really kicked. I thought that album had amazing hooks and everything like that. And I actually super happy, and I got to see them live. Which that album, I was so happy that I got to see them live after that album because I think that one really just kicked ass. Green Carnation, Dark Poem Part One, I thought was really good. Kind of proggy. Whitechapel's Hymns and Dissonance was really good. Body
That was
Box,
another one too. I didn't think of that.
Body Box 3. So that's a band I saw. Really fun, like upbeat, kind of like uh, kind of that metalcore that's kind of it's very very heavy. Um, Black Blade 3 was Black Braid 3. That was a really cool album. Like that's Native American black metal, so that's pretty cool. Um, Labyrinthius Stellarum, Rift in Reality. That was really cool. That's like I think a pretty like low key album. But that album was really cool. It's like sci-fi, super like electronica, black metal, super super cool. And I'd say my last one that I'd like kind of want to talk about, I guess, was Vildharta's uh, whatever their new album was called. That album was cool. They're kind of a gent band, but super cool. And I guess the last one, because I'm going to talk about it later. But Between the Bird and Me is Blue Nowhere. I love Between the Bird
Mm.
and Me. But I do have some things to talk about with this album too later on. But yeah, what's your number two or number one? Sorry, let's get into that.
Uh, Number one, so kind of flip flopping with you a little bit. Band, kind of our only overlapping one, but Lonely People of Power, Death Heaven. Um, I think this album, we'll both kind of talk about this
Yeah,
one. I think it was phenomenal. I think it's the best black metal album I've heard in recent memory. It's super unique, very just ambient. I love how it just like blends like the shoegaze with black metal vocals. Um, I was like, at first I didn't think it was gonna work. When I kind of heard about this band, I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna be into this. It works almost perfectly. Like every song, I think hits perfect when it kind of transitions from the shoegaze type of vocals to like the black metal shriek. I think it works perfectly. I think um, it's just very heavy, like especially songs like Revelator. It's just insane. Um, Doberman is incredible. Magnolia,
yeah.
uh, and then Heathen, I think is the perfect song that I think blended like the shoegaze and the black metal vibe. I think it's super cool, super unique, really cool. And if I would honestly recommend this to people that are not like black metal fans.
Oh, 100%.
Like I think it's perfect.
Yeah,
I
I
I loved
was
it.
I honestly like this was a band. So this is a band I've been following for probably 8 years or something like that. And it's like a band I like. I listened to their music and I was like, oh, this is like cool. Like it's okay. It's not amazing. Like to me, none of their other albums are like even close to the tier that this album is.
Hmm.
Um, but god damn, this album rocks, dude. Like you said,
Yeah,
Doberman, Magnolia, Heathen are great. Um, the Marvelous Archie is a great finisher to this album. And the reason I mentioned Interpol earlier, like that style, is of course because Paul Banks, the actual lead singer of Interpol, is on Incidental 3. And then you have the female singer on Incidental 2. It's like all over the place album, but like it works so well and it's put so well together that it kicks ass.
yeah.
And it's hard to say anything bad about this album. Honestly, the only thing I guess I could say, if I want to say anything bad about it, they honestly probably could have cut like a song or two off of it. Honestly, the only ones I'm not as big of a fan of is Incidental 2, and I I can't remember which other one I was like kind of but amazing album. I really thought it was awesome. Cool album
Yeah.
cover, like unique. It's kind of eye popping. Um,
Mhm.
but
I
dude,
love how I honestly didn't even realize when I first listened to this it was black metal either.
mm,
Like honestly, I heard someone recommend this before and I started playing it. I was like, all right, I'll go check out one of their songs. And I was like, oh, they have a new album. I might as well check this out. I listened to it. The first song I listened to was Doberman. I was like, man, this is pretty good. And you get like halfway through the song and you're just like, okay, it's gonna slow it up. It just like picks up like, three times better. And it was like every song, like Heathen was incredible. Um, yeah, this just really impressed me. I didn't realize I was gonna like this that much. But it's probably my favorite album of the year by far.
yeah,
It's
it's
super unique, super. I'm just excited to show people this type of this album.
yeah,
And
I
I also like how they're kind of made like their own genre too.
yeah,
I guess like black shoegaze is like an actual thing, but like I think they're kind of I think this is like their own type of genre almost.
yeah. This is almost like an album that there's almost nothing like. Even their own music isn't like fully like this album. Like I don't know. This album's just one of
Yeah.
those things. Like last year, I know you weren't on the show last year, but Blood Incantation released Absolute Elsewhere, and I was like, damn, this is like the culmination of everything they've done, and they made it work so well together. And I feel like this is the exact same thing. It is a great album, and I, like I said, it was probably my number one for most of the year. And then like Lorna Shore, it's just like it's one of those ones I just kept coming back to, so I was like, damn, I gotta put that. And then
Yeah.
I guess I can get into my number one, which was Ordos, their album Fire, which I
Okay.
really fucking loved. It gave me like some of the songs gave me super hardcore, uh, like Bolt Thrower vibes. It was all over like they're just like very. I don't know the right way to say it. They're just like super heavy, super heavy metal with like cool ambient, dark overtones that just lace the songs. And this album, and it only being, I think it's a 5 song album. I don't think there's a bad song. I don't think there's a bad minute on the album. Like it is so good, and
So
I
what
was
was
very
this
very
album
happy with it.
called? Or I'm sorry, what was the? It was Fire by who?
Ordos, Ordos. Uh, cool album cover too. But yeah, they've made some really good albums before. House of the Dead is a cool ass album. I also really like The End. They've just been kind of on it. But yeah, their new album definitely my favorite from them.
Really, really cool album covers too.
Yeah, House of
I'm
the
just
Dead I
looking at
think is one
their
of the coolest album covers.
Spotify stuff.
They the way they like implement Keller in their album covers is so cool. And like whatever artist they go with, dude, it's really fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
Um,
love to albums that like kind of play into like the horror. Um, I call it like LARPing a little bit. But I kind of like when artists like play into like the horror
mhm,
and make like their album covers and like song titles like just like horror
yeah,
themed or like stuff like that.
yeah, they're a super awesome band, and honestly, if you haven't listened to this album, highly recommend. Because they're not like they're not a very big band at all, but I really thought this album just when I like first listened to it, I was like, oh my god, this is the album, and then I just like kept listening to it. And I was like, okay, this is just getting better every time I listen. But yeah, you have like your slow, doomier parts, and then you got your more fucking upbeat, crazy. Just such a good album. It's kind of almost a mix to me, a mix of like Bolt Thrower and High on Fire almost. If High, I remember the way I wanted to describe it to Cole, the person who was on the show last year. Couldn't make it this year, but I want to explain it to him as like basically High on Fire with better vocals, which is
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
you told me on Bolt Thrower, so I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
check
there's
them
like bolt
out.
throwery moments in there, dude. It's so good. Um, I loved it. So yeah, that's our top 10. Now we can kind of go into some other stuff. Uh, so what are your disappointing albums for the year? Because I got a
Uh,
couple.
I have an indie folk album I was pretty disappointed with, which is a shame. I think these guys are incredible. Probably my favorite like folk band, Camp.
Hmm.
They released an album this year that was titled Copper Changes Colors or Copper Changes Color. And it was a shame because I really like their old albums. I think every single album was almost perfect.
Mm.
And this album, I think their biggest issue is they got a little bit more mainstream. And I think what hurts folk albums is the production. I hate when it's like more modern, if that makes sense, or more industrialized production. And that's what this album felt with. It almost felt like too like almost like folk pop.
Hmm.
So it was just disappointing. There wasn't really any songs here that really like stood out compared to like their old album. Um, but yeah, it was just disappointing indie folk album. Especially I had more higher expectations for these guys too. Um, and there wasn't really like any standouts from it. So
Yeah, I oh
my second one was, or do you
I
want to
mean
go?
we could kind of swap a little bit. So
That'd
we
be
get
tough. For
cause I got a couple. Lunatic Soul, World Under Unsun. I really like some old Lunatic Soul or older Lunatic Soul. But yeah, this album just did not hit for me. It didn't feel as like they're kind of more of an ambient kind of um like darker, just kind of rock band, and I really just don't think this album sold it for me. But yeah, sorry, what was your next one?
Oh, my next one is class classic in the metalcore scene, Devil Wears Prada Flowers. And I will say, I don't think every song on this is bad. I think there's some bangers on there. But again, they went too much into like the pop area. They kind of lost their metalcore touch a little bit. And I know that's kind of as bands get older, they kind of get less heavier, and that's kind of what this album felt like a little bit. Maybe I was expecting too much old Devil Wears Prada, kind of just let down a little bit. Even from their last album, it just was way less heavier than any of their old work. So it was just a little disappointing. Like I said, there were still like songs I liked on here, but it was just very, I don't know, almost like metalcore pop a little bit.
Yeah, I did get to see him this year in concert. I was like, okay, like they didn't play much old stuff, and I don't really I listen to like old Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah,
like Zombie EP and stuff like that. Like I think are really
yeah,
good. But yeah, I haven't been able to get into like any of their newer stuff personally. And I like started to listen to them a little bit, but just didn't get too far in. Uh, my next one was well, I'm just gonna mention this because we're talking about metalcore. Or I guess this is also a tech death band. Um, Born of Osiris, dude. They were one that album threw me off so much. I was so disappointed because that album was like weird techno, like EDM y, and I was like, oh, I actually hate this. There's like one or two songs I'm like, okay, these are okay, but I was like, compared to their last album, which was like
yeah,
very cool, I just did not like that album.
yeah. That's the issue. I think I have too much with like metalcore albums, especially like the older bands too, kind of making new music. I'm like, I already know, like going into it, I'm like, it's just not gonna hit.
Yeah,
It's not gonna hit like it used to. Not to say there were some good ones. Like Fit for a King was pretty decent.
yeah.
So not every single one was terrible.
I've heard good things about that Fit for a King album. Uh,
Yeah, that was another. I should probably put as like an honorable mention.
yeah, dude. But so one I did want to talk about was Between the Buried and Me too, Blue Nowhere.
Yeah,
So I did like that album. I just was kind of disappointed because after Keller's 2, like I fucking love that album. This album was so much softer and so much more just like wankery, I guess. Which like it's fine. It wasn't bad, but it just like kind of disappointed me in that fact. Um, and kind of down the same vein, dude. Jid's new album, JID, his new
I
album, dude. I like was coming off such high hopes because the last album, the Never Ending Story, is that what it was? The last one.
think so.
Um, that album was like really good, and of course he got like some at least mainstream or TikTok fame, whatever you want to say, from that too, which was cool.
I
And
think that hurts too many artists. The TikTok fame.
yeah, but like
Unfortunately, I think it just hurts people.
yeah, I think I mean you and me have been following JID for years,
Yeah,
uh, and dude, even like the Earth Gang song, like I am so used to him doing great stuff with Earth Gang, but dude, it was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, I was very disappointed,
yeah.
and
I heard bits and clips of it. I'm just like, like I'm just not gonna like it. I'm not even gonna bother listening to it because I'm just not gonna like it.
yeah, the Clips album I was impressed with. That was like almost all my. That's probably one of my honorable mentions I didn't mention earlier. That was pretty cool. Um, do you have any more ones you were disappointed with?
I was disappointed. I don't really know if that's the right word, but kind of an album that just another band that's like hurting and just kind of
Limping
never.
along.
I never want to say like a band needs to kind of. You guys need to kind of move on to the next chapter, but Deftones' Private Music, I thought was terrible. Thought this.
Dude,
I think they are just they need to kind of. They had
wait,
a good run. I think they had some good albums, but I think this.
Give me 1 second.
Hey guys, you might remember me. I'm Mike. I've been in a couple other videos. Mike, it's Mike with a C, M-I-C. You know, I speak to the people. I'm here. I heard that Patrick has some issues with the Deftones album from this year, and you know, I'm a huge fan. I love artists who really sing from their soul. Patrick, why don't you tell me what you didn't like about the album, man? I'm really worried about you. Are
Yeah,
you okay?
I would like to take this from the top. I didn't say I didn't like it.
Mm,
I thought it was terrible.
You thought it was terrible. Patrick, that's crazy. Do you even have headphones, dude?
And I am a Deftones fan. I saw them in concert this year. I am a fan.
wait, you said you didn't
I
see any
Now,
don't think
concerts this
so.
year.
I don't think you're a fan, brother, because let me tell you something, dude. This album, they're really doing their thing. They're really coming into their own. And the production, I mean, you can hear it, Patrick. You put your headphones on, you can
you know what?
hear it, dude. You can hear it, dude.
I think you're too scared to admit they're past their prime.
I think you're crazy, dude. I
You're
think
too
they're
scared
doing
to admit they are
all
past their
kinds of
prime.
cool stuff.
They're doing the same thing they've done for 30 years. It sounds
Ethan,
the
you know,
exact same
Ethan,
as Around the Fur.
when Ethan and I make these videos about music, you know, we want to talk about music. I'm not talking about the
Correction.
people where their souls are on this journey, Patrick. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the music that they're making, man. And I think that they're doing stuff. I mean, I can hear it in my ears.
I'm gonna ask you a question, and
Of
there's only
course.
one right answer to this. Private music.
Yes, dude.
I'm going through all their album releases. I want you to say, is it better than this album? Yes or no. We're gonna play that little
Oh,
game
oh yeah, wait, no, no.
because
It's
I'll be
pause,
making this
pause
quick.
until you hear an album that this is better
Absolutely.
than.
Okay, yeah. Talk talk when you hear an album better than
We'll play this
private
game.
life. Private music.
No, no,
You should
worse than
talk through
private.
every single one.
Worse than private music. But start from
No,
the.
I'm gonna go through the entire discography, whatever the hell it's called.
I think it's better than their first album.
I hold on. See, that was the right answer. Now I'm gonna keep on going though. I want to keep going. Around the Fur.
Okay.
You're supposed to talk when it's better than.
Patrick, you told me to. Well, Ethan told me to stop when there was something that it was better than. So
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's the
continue.
way it goes.
all right. White Pony. Self-titled Deftone. B-sides and rarities. Saturday Night Wrist. Diamond Eyes.
I think it's probably better than Diamond Eyes. I do. I really like this album.
You think that's better than hold on.
Absolutely, dude.
You think that's better than Diamond Eyes, Royal, Control,
Patrick,
Beauty
you are
School.
not a Deftones fan. You are a fake
Oh,
Wait,
fan.
wait, wait.
You like
song,
Deftones and you post
song.
about it and you say, I like Deftones because it's sex music. I like Deftones because they're players, because they're playing instruments. Let me tell you, Patrick, you don't understand it.
Wait, wait, wait.
I'm sorry, but a
Pause for
bunch
one
of
second.
50-year-olds making music about cringy emo high schoolers is not the move
Wait,
anymore.
wait. I
It's not the
actually
50-year-olds
move.
and high schoolers is actually a pretty big deal in this country right now, Patrick.
can I pause this for 1 second?
Yeah,
I do want to hear Patrick had a take on it. Who did you say mixed this album?
I said this album sounds like a middle schooler produced it.
You're insane.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It literally sounds like someone went on GarageBand.
It was cold this whole
Guys, I'm gonna
time.
go. Hold on. I can go in FL Studio and go
Crazy
make a
reveal, guys.
beat.
It's me, classic host Cole. Kadoosh. Patrick. I'm here to debate you.
And you know what? And if you say, "Oh, you don't like Deftones, you don't like any of their new shit," I think Ohms was great. I think that was a great album.
I think this is much better than Ohms. Personal opinion. I think the
Whoa.
production's better. I think the songwriting's better. I think it's more cohesive as an album. I think that the music that they're making here is much more interesting than Ohms. I feel like Ohms is them trying to capture their previous sound in some kind of way. And I think it also feels like Ohms is less cohesive. Ohms is just a bunch of songs they wrote. Whereas this album felt like it was written as an album to be put out that way. And the production and the way everything meshes together and the playing and the choices they've made in the music, I think is much more interesting. 100%.
I think this is boring and just unoriginal compared to any other work they've ever done.
Ever.
There is no songs. Look, going. you can look at this entire album. You can't pick one song and just be like, okay, I need to put this on my playlist. There's not one. Maybe the only exceptional one is Milk of the Madonna, but that's it. All these songs are just unoriginal.
Unoriginal is fucking crazy. Like unironically.
They sound like any other. They haven't done anything different to really like. I mean, the only thing different they've done is Ohms was 10 times better than Private Music, and I will stand by that. This is probably their weakest project they've ever done.
I thought you said the
That's
first
crazy. I
album was the
completely
worst.
disagree. I
Yeah,
think first
besides
album
the
is
first
all. I
album.
think first album is the worst, but that's not fair. I think Ohms is worse than this, and I would probably put this on before I put Diamond Eyes on, to be quite honest with you.
That's a crazy case.
But I've never been a huge fan of that album to begin with. So
I
think
hate it
that's
all.
did you listen to the album?
Me? No, I don't listen to Deftones. I don't like Deftones.
I'd like you to listen to the album, and we'll have a recap of this.
I don't think you're gonna
I
get
want
through
no
it.
because I think an outsider perspective would be the best.
Okay.
Because I want to hear what he has to say as not a fan, as an outsider perspective, and like just from the standpoint of the music with no baggage.
Okay, guys.
I think their issue is they're going too much into this. They're diving too much into like this is the issue we were talking about earlier in this video where I think too many bands are becoming too industrialized in their production. I hate it. I hate that more than anything. I hate the over industrialized production of like any metalcore album. This is not even.
I mean, I agree with you, but I don't think this album counts in that category.
Way too overproduced.
Wait.
Deftones. I think since White Pony, Deftones has been a highly produced, very produced, like sharp, clean band.
I think.
Wait. Can I interject here?
I think, yeah.
You just said this band sounds like it was produced by middle schoolers, but now you're saying it sounds overly produced.
Yeah, I mean that's also a conflict.
That's no, it's not, because I think the younger bands, and looking back on like some of my list, you can even agree with that like this is what goes back to how I was saying, like it sounds like they produced this in GarageBand. Because like younger people, or like if you listen to any like younger artists, it sounds way overproduced, way industrialized, and you can't argue that. It does. Half of the albums today, especially metal, sound like that. And that's like the new wave of metal sound. It's becoming like that.
I would say that's more with like the metal, like how
yeah, I would say it's
metalcore
more with the metal and deathcore, and I would agree with you. And all those bands sound the same, but that's not also chalked up to production. A lot of those bands just sound the same and are playing the same things too. This is completely different. This is people outside of the box doing their own thing. It sounds like Deftones because it's Deftones and they have a style, but it's still outside of the box as compared to what you're trying to like push it into a box with. And the production side of things, Deftones has always been, since at least White Pony, a highly produced band with very sharp, very clean production. And so I don't think it's fair to categorize them with like the core bands who are just milling out the same bullshit.
Correct. So that's the fair point. And my other thing is like I said, I think all these people, I think they're all super talented. I don't think they've lost that charm. But if you guys are gonna continuously do like the same thing you've been doing when other bands are catching up to you, because
catching up to you, how? You need to give me some more substance here.
There are hundreds of shoegaze bands that capture the same
Deftones is not sound. Shoegaze.
They're gazy sound. I don't know what alt rock.
They're a gazy sound.
They are.
I would consider them new metal.
They are. I mean,
maybe not anymore, but like they're definitely venturing more into like prog metal than anything at that point. So
I think it's more like shoegaze now, if anything.
I disagree.
I think this album sounded like a modern shoegaze.
What's a shoegaze album you compare it to?
I've heard the term shoegaze thrown around for so many bands. I've never heard a band that's actually considered themselves shoegaze that I like, that I knew of or was listening to. And people call a lot of bands shoegaze. I don't think they know what it is.
I just think for a band of this caliber, it's a weak project.
I would disagree.
Hey,
I'd like to hear Ethan's take. Maybe we can get an update to this in another episode at some point.
Yes, I guess we can stay tuned for that.
And you know what? We can bring Mike back because he has a lot to say about it as well.
And also a band taking 5 years off before their next project. Like you would think it would be something more, I don't know, revolutionary than this. They keep doing the same formula.
Why would I think that? Why would I think that?
And
I have no reason to think that. I have no reason to think that.
And to beg the difference, Me and Ethan were talking about older bands today, like Sodom Testament. Those
Whoa,
band,
whoa,
those
whoa,
albums
whoa, whoa,
are
whoa.
arguably
First of all, I
more.
said only great things about Sodom. I said they are so much better now, or they're like they're
Yeah,
it's some
and
of the best
Testament
shit
is
they've
not a
done.
great example because Testament is all over
Okay,
the map.
maybe not Testament, but anyways,
Metallica,
Metallica is a cheap imitation of themselves.
yeah.
yes, and Deftones is a cheap
No, they're not.
imitation of
No, they're
themselves
not.
now.
No,
Yes,
absolutely not. They're
you just
doing
said
different stuff. The reason you don't like this is because they're doing stuff that you don't want to hear out of Deftones because you've listened to White Pony and shoved it up your ass so much that you can't hear anything different from this band. And when they do something
I,
different, you're like, oh, it's boring. It's produced bad. I don't like it. It's because your brain can't physically fucking contain something different than what you want it to be.
and you're telling me this is out of any band that dropped an album this year. This is your number one pick.
Well, okay, I
I
didn't
wouldn't
say.
say it's my number one pick at all. I
I
never
said.
said that. I
Oh
never
no, no,
said
no.
that. You're putting words into my mouth.
No, 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 no.
Moderator,
Okay,
moderator, moderator.
I already told him that I said I wasn't 100% sure, and I'm pretty sure you said it was one of your top albums of the year.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably in my top 5 of the year.
There you go, top 5. Um, is this album, by the way, is this like a Avenged Sevenfold's last album? Is this in the same situation?
I wouldn't say that. It's definitely more similar to previous work. I would say it's like similar to what they've been putting out in the last decade or so, but it's still doing some different stuff. And I think just in the sound and like choices of how they're like writing their music, I would say it's a little more wall of sound if that's what he's trying to get across with like the shoegaze stuff. But I like that. I think it's just that people don't really like this album because it didn't give them what they wanted out of Deftones. Because a lot of people who got into Deftones more recently, you know, they've heard all the hits, all the older songs. They want that, and they're not getting it, and so they're upset. That's the truth of the matter.
How do you
I
respond?
like a band to be able to evolve, and I think it's different. Like Metallica is a cheap imitation of themselves because they're trying to capture the music that made them popular and failing at it because they just don't have the ability to do that anymore. Whereas Deftones has continued to move forward, even if they have a similar sound through all their albums. It's completely different.
What's your
See,
response, Patrick?
I I honestly think I think it's the opposite. I think this album tried to imitate their early work, and I don't think it captured it by far. I don't think they're trying to
This doesn't
progress
sound
at
like
all.
any early
It
Deftones
does.
at all.
You could argue it sounds like White
You could
Pony.
argue anything.
It sounds nothing like Around the Fur,
I could
like any
argue that a
Zappa.
duck and a chicken are the same animal, but that doesn't make it true.
All right,
But
let's hear his argument out
that,
before we
that,
get into some person who sits outside of high school kind of argument. And I'm not saying the one that died. I'm saying more like Stephen Crowder or Steven Crowder, whatever his name is. We're getting into Steven Crowder arguments right now.
Steven Crowder's not smart enough to make an argument like that.
All right, Patrick.
and I will admit
Is this not a debate? Am I not supposed to engage him in the marketplace of ideas?
Well, okay. Why do you think it sounds like White Pony or whatever the hell it's called?
I think because White Pony
In
is the
no way.
most like. I think White Pony is the only album that combines heavier new metal with you're gonna hate that I use this term, but shoegaze.
I
It
don't
was
think
the
you
only
know. First
one.
of all, I don't think you know what that term means. Second
I
of
know
all,
what shoegaze means.
what you're trying to say is describing like every Deftones album from White Pony onward.
No, not all of them. Diamond Eyes is more of like an ambient type of new metal. I think they're all different, and I'll go through each one. Adrenaline is definitely new metal. Around the Fur is straight up new metal. White Pony is the first one, new metal and shoegaze. Deftones is probably more new metal. Uh, B-sides and rarities,
We're gonna have to
probably
do a
more
Deftones
ambient.
video at this point because we can't go through the whole. I didn't come. I was called to this to argue with you about this album because probably there will be some outcry in the comments of people who agree with me and agree with you, etc. But like, I would need to listen to all the albums to bring the proper ammunition to this. But I know, as a matter of fact, that you are wrong.
All right.
Unfortunately.
So when are we aiming this? Is this gonna be a February video? Let's aim for February. And if you
Going
guys
through
are
the whole
interested in this
Deftones
in this
discography.
in this Deftones argument, if you guys are interested, stay tuned. In February, we will get this done, and we might have more guests on here. I don't know if we have more people who would
I'll
argue.
probably try and get Mike back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will just preface this by saying, like, as a Deftones fan, why it falls on my worst / most disappointing albums of the year is because one, high expectations.
Well, that's your own problem. That has nothing to do
Two,
with.
every Deftones album I think has at least like 3 or 4 solid bangers. I think this has maybe one that's semi decent. I don't
All
think
right,
this
wait,
has
wait.
any replay value at all,
So wait,
and I think
I do have
way
a
too
question for I do have a question for you, Pat.
over industrialized. Yeah,
Before we go, what is your one song that you think
He
is
said Milk of the Madonna,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
yeah,
like the
most
one
of
that
the time.
everybody agrees that they like. So
Okay.
Exactly.
that doesn't
It's
prove your point at
the
all.
only good
That
song
doesn't
on
prove your
that
point at all.
album.
It proves it's a song that you know.
And what's your personal favorite?
I would say that's probably my favorite too, but that doesn't make that doesn't make your point. Just because
the
it's my
only good,
favorite song doesn't mean it's the only good song on the album.
What do you think the worst song is, Patrick?
Probably all of them. Infinite
Yeah,
Source, maybe.
see, bad faith. This is a bad faith debate.
What did you say?
Infinite Source is like my second favorite song on the album.
I personally just can't get into any of them.
All right, what's the
Milk of
problem?
the
Well, okay,
Madonna.
we'll save this. We'll save this
Infinite
argument.
Source and yeah, we're gonna have the argument. We're gonna have the argument.
We'll save the
Like
argument.
I said, I love this band. I think they're great. Some solid work in the past. You're the one that's arguing it's your favorite of the year.
Well,
Not
not
me.
I
his
didn't say no. You're putting words in my mouth again. Again. You try to slander me.
Top 5.
See, you're a bad faith debater, Patrick. When you come to me in the next video, I want to talk to you in the marketplace of ideas. And if you don't have ideas, then don't come.
I'll be ready for the next debate. I'll be aimed and ready.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us for this debate. It was great having you back, and a little spot, a little trickle, but thank you very much. We will continue this argument probably in February. We'll aim for that. Thank you, gents. 21 Savage album had one of the weirdest fucking songs with that dog shit song and the dog shit chorus. It was diabolical. But I will say, I don't know. I'm not a Drake fan. I was on the Kendrick side because I've, been with Kendrick for a long time. Never really liked Drake. But that's also something we didn't talk about. GNX would probably be up there for me too. And I forgot that came out this year. What were your thoughts on that album? Because I know that's like one of the most controversial albums of the year. Because like the new age of hip hop art, like fans do not like that album. But to me, that's like a super like old school, like not old school, but like 2010 style.
Which one was it?
GNX by Kendrick.
Oh, honestly, I didn't even get around to listening to it.
Bro, it came out in January. What?
Yeah, I know.
That's diabolical. But yeah, it's a weird album because it's like, but you've at least probably experienced the whole like anti Kendrick sentiment from young people, which I think is so weird to me. Like people just hate Kendrick now. I don't know if it's just because he got overplayed, you know what I mean, with like Not Like Us and stuff like that. But
I think it's just interesting to see the shift of like I don't know, it's just weird. I feel like we're seeing like a shift of like hip hop artists. Because when we were, I don't know, let's say younger, the main ones were like a big one for us was like Travis Scott.
yeah,
And it's almost like I just feel like he's almost in like the background now. It feels like
yeah,
I don't think he's as popular or like I don't think he has as many fans as like I don't know. I don't think we'll ever like see another like type like Astroworld
no,
or like, stuff like that. Like I don't feel like you get what I'm trying to like get at. Like I don't feel like we're gonna
yeah.
get like
I think
that type of hype anymore.
the closest thing we got was I Am Music or whatever the hell, the Playboy Cardi album, and I did not like that. That was honestly one of the disappointing albums of this year because like upcoming for that album, I was like interested in his like new like deeper voice style hip hop, and it like didn't.
So is that what he went for? Because I'm glad you kind of brought that up. I was kind of interested in like his that deeper voice.
Yeah,
Is that what like the whole album was?
no, it's like I don't even know. It's not. It's
Okay.
bad, dude. It's not good.
Mm.
By the way, your mic sounds weird. Just FYI. I don't know if it's.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I don't feel like we're gonna get like I don't know. I just remember the Astroworld hype around it. Like we were staying up to like midnight. And, like
Yeah.
this is epic. We're gonna listen to this and
You know what I
just
almost think killed
up
it?
all year. What?
Donda, dude.
Yeah.
Because Donda was kind of big. Like everybody, like because you heard the rumors that like all these people were coming back. You were getting like the Weekend back, Jay-Z back, um, and there's like all this stuff leading up to it. And I really think like you know love or hate Kanye. Um, I think his old music's so influential. Dude, the old release parties for Kanye music were insane.
Hmm.
Dude, I remember watching even like Kids See Ghosts when that came out. Do you remember what I watched
Yeah.
that party live? Dude, I was playing like
Yep.
COD. I was playing COD World War II, and I had that on the other screen, like watching. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit!
Yeah. I just don't think we're gonna see another album like that.
No,
And I hope we do because like it honestly brings back like nostalgia and stuff like that. Just having like these hip hop records that are gonna be so like groundbreaking. All this hype is building up to it, and now it's just like what the biggest one, like you said, was Playboy Cardi, and like that was a dud.
yeah, and I don't think like I don't know. For one, like there wasn't any big promotion for it or anything. It's like, oh, this album's like finally coming out. I think the next big one is probably going to be ASAP Rocky. That might cause that
Hmm.
whenever he drops his album, or whenever J Cole drops the Fall Off.
When are those 2026 albums? Both of
I
them?
We don't know. We have no idea. That's the problem, dude. It's like hip hop artists are now also so inconsistent with albums. It's crazy.
Yeah. I just feel like we're also in a different era. I don't know if you've seen there's that British rapper that's become popular. I think it's like
I don't know.
DXR or something like that.
I thought you were talking about like C, whatever, Central C.
Maybe that's what it is. It's the one with Timothy Chalamet. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, Easy Kid, SD.
Okay, no, I don't know. I'm not big in the British rap scene. I know like some guys, like some Dave and Gigs and Skepta and stuff like that, but I'm not big in the.
Yeah, those are becoming the more like mainstream today. I think, yeah.
Yeah, and then
And
we're
people want to argue that oh, hip hop's not. I keep saying like this is the moment to also like talk about some like cringy like TikTok stuff I've seen. Also, I forgot to mention this on my other like honorable mentions. I had Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon.
mhm.
I forgot to mention that one because I was debating about. I originally was gonna have both of them in my top 10, but I decided to go pick with one. But that's another album that just has like a classic, like the classic old hip hop beats. Thought it was really cool. But yeah, this is going back to what I was saying. What I think is hurting hip hop is it's sadly the metal community, especially in TikTok. I've seen there's all these trends going around of like people being like, "Oh, rap beats scissors, but scissors never beats rock." Essentially, like just there's always like so much shade thrown at rap
Yeah,
by the rock and metal community. I never understood it because I think they're both equally like amazing genres. I just think it's just
yeah.
maybe I'm getting
I do under.
oversaturated with artists, but I just never. I think metal fans and like the rock community are hurting hip hop. And I think that's why it was such a down year too.
I really think like country's kind of becoming taking over too. Like I think that's such a
Yeah.
big
Yep.
because you see all these like hip hop R&B stars like pushing that. Like Big X
Yep.
released a country album. Post Malone released a country album. Beyonce released a country album. Like you're seeing such a shift, and it's a weird shift too. That's I think also hurting hip hop. It's a weird shift, and maybe I don't know. I really don't like that style of country, so like I can't get into it.
I absolutely despise that stuff country. I think it's not real country at all. Real country to me is Western outlaw, folk music.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my type of
Country
country.
western is like
Yeah.
that's my go-to. I don't know. It's such
I
a
just
weird.
yeah. I can't get into country pop at all.
And like the thing I see now is like the people who are making these like super to me like and like I see acclaimed albums. You don't see a lot of new artists like making like acclaimed hip hop albums now. And I think like to me like I was like damn like Big X is kind of bringing back that southern like I was like oh man southern hip hop's kind of back. And
Mm,
then he went and made a country album. So I'm like because he was bringing back old style beats too like old like some like Motown style beats and everything like
Yeah,
that, or old.
that's that's what I've been kind of into this year, especially. That's why I picked this one album, The Sword and the Soaring. It just has like that old school kind of like East Coast type of rap.
Yeah,
Uh, I love it. I think we need more of that. And kind of going back to what you were saying about country too. I think the biggest issue too nowadays is this was more of an issue last year than it is this year, but like all the hip hop artists like joining features on country songs now.
yeah,
I don't know if you've seen this, but like it's so cringy, it's so terrible. I can't stand it.
yeah. I agree. I don't know. I'm not.
Lil Wayne on the Morgan Wallen track or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't enjoy it.
just yeah, absolutely. It's terrible for the brand too, I think.
Yeah, like I'm not saying
Um,
like you can't do like I don't know. It sucks because it's not something like I'm like damn like they're trying to be out there and like it just kind of sucks if for like if you're like a normal hip hop fan, and I also think like these are albums that are made mediocrely. It's not like, oh, this is a country hip hop album and it's made well. No, it's not. To me, it's at least not made very well. And
mhm.
it might be appealing to the masses because it's like, oh my gosh, I get to see this rap star I loved for so long now doing country because I also like country. But dude, it's to me, it's mediocre being on outside of that, I guess. And
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for like genre blending. Like I think you can do metal and jazz is a great combo, or like blues and rap is a good combo.
yeah,
But like just having just mainstream country pop and hip hop artists, it doesn't work together at all. I think like those songs are like I can't even get through them.
yeah,
They're not catchy. They're not just enjoyable. I just think it ruins the image of both um of both like hip hop and country. Um, it has a big following, but I just don't understand it. Personally,
yeah.
can't get behind it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was like happy. I think it was last year or the year before that Killer Mike won album of the year with that. I thought that album was really well done. I think like the Clips album this year was really good. Like I think we're getting older artists coming back to do hip hop in a more classic style, which I like. But it's just a weird time, and I don't think like I can't follow modern hip hop like people because now it also feels like, and I know like singles were a thing before, but like singles were huge in like the early 2000s. I feel like they almost stepped away a bit, and I can't even say that because there's still big songs like we had like Hot and stuff like that from like Young Thug and shit like that. Like there's always gonna be that, but now it's like you don't get a lot of these artists releasing like albums anymore. It's just singles now from like a lot of
Yeah,
these hip hop
and
stars, at least since 2020.
they're releasing like too many singles too. Like the reason I picked the McKinley Dixon album, he's only had I think he's had 3 albums, I don't know, 5 albums, but they all like tell like deep personal stories. Like they're
Yeah,
all you can tell it's like passion projects, each and every single one of them. Um, so I kind of feel like for hip hop, especially, it kind of when you release too many singles, you just lose the art of it.
yeah,
Um, and I'm more for like I know another like disappointing album I should have put this year was Sabo. That was another guy I used to love in high school.
yeah. So I was dope. I didn't even
Um,
listen to his new album, so
yeah, not good.
that sucks.
Um, but yeah, he's another just I loved his old work, and I think he's just hurting trying to compete with these other like hip hop artists instead of just being his like organic self that he used to be.
Mm, yeah, that it sucks, and I don't know. It's just a weird time, but
It is. It was definitely the weird like. I remember I asked you earlier, like, is there any like hip hop artists from this year? Because there generally was not a lot.
yeah, and I listen to hip hop a decent, like I mean, like I listen to a decent amount of hip hop, but even like I was just disappointed. Um, I guess the last thing to get into, you were talking. I was going to talk about some of the concerts I saw this year. You said you saw Deftones, right?
Yeah, that was my only concert this year.
Okay, so what did you think of that?
I enjoyed it. I do have some issues with it. The first issues were so I saw this at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. My first issue was um what are the I forgot what the term is for like the bands that come on before
Openers.
the openers. The openers were absolutely atrocious, and they went on way too long. Show starts at like 7 o'clock. I think they openers performed for like 2.5 hours, and it was this band I never even heard of. I think it was. I honestly think it was. I forget what they were called out. Mars Volta or something like that.
Oh,
Am I pronouncing it right?
yeah,
I
it's the
think
Mars
that's.
Volta. I don't mind them,
I
but
don't know if
like
that's the right.
it is.
Their band though was when they performed. I don't know what it was about
I
it, but it was just
so
so like.
I actually I will say this. I have a friend who like is a big Mars Volta fan, and he saw them live, and he said he did not like them live. Like their
No,
sound
I thought it
doesn't work
was
live.
atrocious, and the sound is what made me get like a massive like headache
Mm.
before Deftones even start. Like I never had a band actually like physically like make me ill. Not because of like the way they're performing or anything, but just the sound was like so just like I don't know why. I just couldn't stand it. And they just went on for like way too like an hour too long. And by the time Deftones got on, yeah, I think that just hurt it. But um the only other issue was I think it was just too big of an arena for it. So
Where did you see him?
I think it kind of Wells Fargo Center.
Okay.
And we had like high seats. So I think that kind of hurt like the value of seeing them. I think because they're like known for being just a very like loud band. I think that kind of hurt the experience like a little bit. But other than that, I think they performed really good show. Um, he still got it. Tino still got it. So yeah, really no complaints other than really like the openers and just like the venue. Other than that, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Mine. So I saw Willie Nelson at the beginning of the year, kind of in April. It was pretty cool. He's he's got classic songs. So it's cool seeing like Whiskey River and stuff like that. Um, I didn't get any of my like I'm a big Highwaymen fan, so like I didn't get any of that, of course, because you know it is what it is. But still, pretty good show. Pretty quiet though. I would say it was my main concern with it. And then later in April, I saw Obscura, Atheist Origin, Decrepit Birth, and Fractal Universe, which was the shoot, what was that? It was like some tour, like Shredfest, I think is what it was called. Really cool. Origin was probably one of the coolest bands I've seen live. Their bassist is insane. If you haven't ever looked at their bassist play, search it up. Dude was insane.
I went through like TikTok one time and saw someone post a video of the bassist and was like, "This the origin bassist is like insane," and the dude's like shredding.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's insane. I left a little early on Obscura, and dude, like half the venue left before Obscura got there, which was kind of cool. I guess because basically like the lead singer is like just an asshole and like basically like stole all the writing from the one guitarist and like used it on an album. Like he's a really bad guy, and like this band has so many overturned stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that, I guess, in a way. And then in June, I saw this Summer of Loud tour, which I'm wearing the shirt of actually, where I saw Parkway Drive, Killswitch Engage. Howard Jones was also there, showed up for that. It was pretty cool. Beartooth, which was one of the worst live experiences of my life. That dude's they suck so bad. I Prevail, which was pretty decent. Devil Wears Prada was good live. Amity Affliction and Alpha Wolf. Alpha Wolf was bad too, but Amity Affliction was cool. Devil Wears Prada was decent. Some of the songs I liked, like, but they played a lot of newer stuff. Killswitch was honestly the highlight of that whole thing, and I think Parkway Drive. I should have stayed. We left a little early because it was like a 3 hour drive, so it's a lot going on. Uh, and then in July, I saw Carnifex, Suffocation, Devourment, Distant, and Body Box.
See, that's my for 2026. I want to go see Suffocation.
Yeah, they were decent. They were honestly probably the worst of all the bands there.
Really?
Yeah, the audio mixing wasn't great. Devourment also had issues with their sound mixing, and they just did. Everybody was like screaming it, and then the fucking sound guy was getting yelled at. But yeah, Body Box was super fun. I was super happy. That's why their album was in my thing. Like I just went there. I listened to it a little bit before Went there. This was in Jacksonville, Florida, by the way. So that's like kind of their home turf. So it's kind of cool. Then I saw T Pain, Earth Gang, Armani White. Uh, you know, I don't really didn't really care for Armani White. Earth Gang did not do a set list I liked at all. They played like no no good songs. I was like, damn, well, not like no good songs. They played some, but T Pain was pretty cool though. And then that was one of the ones though that was like 4 hours before T Pain came on. That whole all the openers, it was insane. Could have been 4 5 hours maybe. It was insane. And then my last one was Lupe Fiasco. That one was super sick. And then he had some random people. He also had like a long ass pre show, like probably like a 3 hour pre show before he came on.
Yeah.
So, but Lupe Fiasco was awesome. He put on a great show. Um, really, really good. So it was a good. It was a good year for shows for me at least. To kind of get back into the swings because I'm a big show guy, and hopefully me moving closer again back home will get
Yeah,
to do
that's my
more.
goal for this year to go to more shows. I only went to one this year, but there's like a just from looking at 2026 so far, there's a ton. I definitely want to try like going to a hip hop one, try Suffocation. Catatonia's playing 2026.
Yeah, I want to see their tour because it's Catatonia. It is Rivers and I, who I did say was one of my more
Mm,
disappointing albums of the year. I really like their other stuff. This new album just didn't hit as well for me as their older albums. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, it was an interesting year, music wise, and I think it's gonna be a year. I'm hoping just based on this year, how many good metal releases we got. I'm hoping, maybe next year or something we can kind of see some other stuff because even like prog rock was like a hard one for me to like find a lot of good music from too.
yeah, the highlight for me was definitely thrash metal. I think thrash metal for me was definitely the top genre when it comes to bands and metal. There wasn't that many death metal records I like. Um, trying to think. Not really. There was a ton of glam metal records that came out this year. None that really stuck out to me. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, black metal did decent this year too.
yeah, I think they had some good ones. Hover Crew, I think is like one of the bigger ones also released now. I just didn't get to listen to that one as much, or I would have probably had that on my list because I did love their release from I want to say 21 or 22. Really cool stuff, but yeah, uh, I think that's where we're gonna end this show, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you guys want to stay tuned for more and stay tuned for that Deftones episode, uh,
Gonna be a heater.
yeah, hopefully we'll do that in February for you guys, so you don't have to wait too long. But I got to do all listening like the whole catalog, so it's gonna be completely different. So thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, stay tuned for next year. We're gonna do it again probably, and I don't know if you're willing to come back. It'd be awesome. Maybe we'll try and get all
Yeah,
three, you, me, and Cole, get the whole slash cast going. But and check out that we might be doing a little slash cast special for the end of the year too. But that's all for today, guys. Peace.